Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to our next keynote. We are delighted to have the participation of ACCU, SAP Advisory Customer Council for Utilities, at the conference. I'm pleased to introduce you to your host, Catherine Roth, SAP and Project Lead ACCU, and her guests, Andre Bloomberg, CLP Hong Kong, Senior Director, Information Technology Utilities, and Des McColgan, ESB Enterprise Architect, and Sashela James, Centrepoint Energy, Vice President, Information Technology. Catherine, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Also a warm welcome this morning from my side here from Waldorf. A big shout out to Hong Kong, to Andre Bloomberg, and also to Dublin, to Des McColgan. So let me share my screen. And here you see again the topic of our today's session. It's the SAP Advisory Customer Council for Utilities, in short, the ACCU. Now, as key takeaways, we would like you to remember in the context of SAP and the utilities community, whenever you hear the abbreviation ACCU, which you will hear a lot during our session, and afterwards again, that you recall that this is our SAP Strategic Utilities Customer Group. We also would like you to remember what is its mission, what are the current activities, and also what are its current members. And last but not least, that you have heard directly and transparent from the elected ACCU chair and the two co-chairs why their companies are members of our ACCU, and also what are their personal view on the value in participating in the ACCU. Now, let me give you some short information about the ACCU Group as such, as it was founded in 2006. And here on this slide, and maybe be assured our ACCU chair will come back later on to this slide to give you his view as an ACCU chair. You see currently on this slide the current members of our ACCU Group, which is our forum of strategic dialogue with our SAP utilities customers from the utilities industry and SAP, where the member companies are diverse in the region where they are operating, also from their markets and from their company sizes, and of course also diverse in their market roles. As said, the group was founded 2006. We always had member companies in the range of 10 to 15 in the group, and each member company nominated senior executives, one from IT, one from business, that proactively collaborated in the ACCU over the years. The group elects its ACCU chair for 2 years, and also the ACCU chair is supported by either one and currently by 2 ACCU co-chairs also elected by their peers. From SAP, the ACCU is really one of the strategic channels that we have by hearing, interacting, and also getting the advice from our utilities customers on a global level, and also utilities customers that have a strategic view on the industry, and also their companies are strategically investing into the SAP utilities portfolio. And also we are, from SAP side, also able to advise our customers and also to support our customers. Now, the basis from a legal point of view in the collaboration in this group is that we have a feedback agreement in place that each member company is signing when it becomes a member. Who does participate from an SAP point? It's also on a senior executive level from our global utilities team, where we have Miguel Gaspar from the IBU Utilities and his management team, and also Dieter Körber from the Product and Development Utilities team participating. Now, having given you a short glimpse what the ACCU Group is all about, and having said that we are a global group spanning through different time zones, and having elected ACCU co-chairs, unfortunately, our newly elected ACCU co-chair, Sajela James, who is based in Texas, is today not available, as this right now is in the middle of the night for her. But I really appreciate that she recorded a short video for us, and I would like to share with you what Sajela wanted to let us know.
Good day, SAP for Utilities Conference attendees. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this ACCU session today. I am Sajela James, Vice President of Information Technology at CenterPoint Energy in Houston, Texas. CenterPoint Energy is an electric transmission and distribution utility serving about 2.5 million meter customers in the Houston and southwestern Indiana areas. We also sell natural gas to 8 states in the United States. Our strategy to deliver energy and value is what drives our performance every day. CenterPoint Energy is a long-term member of ACCU, and I'd like to invite you to join this council. ACCU is strategic in its focus. It is an opportunity to collaborate with senior executives, and it delivers solutions without sales. I've appreciated the collaboration and the networking, and I'm inviting you to do the same. Now, part of the collaboration is taking advantage of the stories and experiences of each utility. The weather is beautiful in Texas today. A little rain, but mostly sunshine. That was not true earlier this year, where we experienced an unprecedented winter storm event, Winter Storm Uri. CenterPoint Energy and our customers experienced unplanned activities in our operations because of the interruption in the reliability and generation of energy. I'd like to share those experiences with you, our experiences in outage management, customer experience, information presentment, and how all of those things affected how we provide service and resilience in the United States. Thank you for your time, and again, consider joining ACCU, where these conversations and more on a strategic level are available to you. Thank you.
So thank you for Sajela's insights on her view on the ACCU and her view on the value of joining the ACCU. Now, having a look and asking also Des, our second newly elected ACCU co-chair from ESB Ireland. Des, would you like to share your insights?
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. Des McColgan is my name. I'm with the ESB in Dublin, Ireland. I just want to give you a bit of background to me and then talk a little bit about ESB and its strategy and its SAP footprint before mentioning the ACCU and how important it is to ESB. I joined ESB in 1998 and worked on the company's first SAP implementation, SAP R3 3.1H. After that, I spent several years working in technical roles across various projects, including HR and asset management implementations, before joining the Enterprise Architecture Group within the CIO organization, where I've worked for a number of years now. Currently, we are focusing as a group and as an organization on enabling the ESB's Brighter Future strategy through digital transformation. The ESB itself, as an organization, was established by the Irish government in 1927, and the Irish government remains the majority shareholder. ESB has about 7,500 employees, and its group earnings in 2020 was 1.3 billion, with an operating profit of 616 million. It's a vertically integrated utility operating across generation, transmission, distribution, and retail energy. ESB Networks owns transmission and distribution assets within the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. The generation trading function has 29% share of generation in the all-Ireland market and a growing wind portfolio, along with assets in the UK. And our customer solutions business supplies electricity, gas, and energy services to over 1.5 million customers through the island of Ireland and in Great Britain. Customer Solutions also operates several other energy businesses, including an e-car charging infrastructure in the Republic of Ireland. And we also have an enterprise services function, which provides centralised finance, HR, and IT, amongst other services. We're in the middle of a transformation driven by our Brighter Future strategy, where we're leading a transition in Ireland to reliable, affordable, low carbon energy that maintains security and affordability of energy. We're investing and innovating across our business and adopting digital at scale. We're developing new renewable sources of generation and flexible low carbon backup generation. And we're also reinforcing and enhancing our network to accommodate distributed energy resources. I'd just like to highlight a few of the initiatives that are going on that are been driven by our Brighter Future strategy. The first one is the National Smart Meter Programme, where we've deployed over 250,000 smart meters so far within the Republic of Ireland, and have planned to deploy another 500,000 by the end of 2021. Amongst many IT and business changes delivered by this project, we've migrated one of our ISU systems to run on HANA and implemented a number of AMI enhancements. The second key initiative for us right now is Green Atlantic, which is the conversion of the site of the Moneypoint coal-fired generating station to a green energy hub. And it's planned to have a synchronous compensator, 1,400 megawatts of floating offshore wind farm, turbine construction hub, and a hydrogen energy plant deployed there. And the third major key initiative is active system management, which is essentially preparing our network for distributed energy resource management, down to extension of control down to LV levels. So all of these initiatives are in line with our key objectives and targets, which are to reduce carbon intensity by 50% by 2030 and increase renewables to 50% of generation capacity. Just in terms of ESB's SAP footprint, as I mentioned right at the start, we first deployed SAP in 1998. Since then, we're now operating 3 ISU instances, one for retail market processes and 2 for our customer-facing billing solutions, along with a CRM7 instance that supports sales and service. This year, we completed a brownfield S4HANA implementation for our core ERP processes. Very successful project, despite 50% of the project executing during COVID times. And in this project, we delivered an S4HANA transformation along with implementation of group reporting, BPC, SuccessFactors, Concur, and the BW HANA migration. So very successful project all in all. We have a number of other SAP solutions in our landscape too, supporting other business processes. But we see SAP very much as a strategic vendor for our business. And that's one of the key reasons that we are closely engaged with the ACCU Group. The ACCU Group gives us the opportunity to maintain close links with SAP at the IBU level. So we can influence and understand strategic roadmaps from SAP in a way that normal account relations wouldn't really facilitate. Another big benefit for us is that there are networking opportunities for us with our peer utilities across the globe who have similar profiles to us and also are quite different to us. So there's a lot to be learned from that engagement, and the fact that we can, within the confines of the ACCU, talk frankly and openly with both SAP and our peers is really important to us. So I hope I've given you a flavour there of why we're part of ACCU and why it's so important to us. Thanks for listening. I'd like to hand you over to Andre Bloomberg now.
Thank you, Des, and welcome everybody. Good afternoon from sunny and hot and humid Hong Kong. I hope you're all well and you hope you're all safe. My name is Andre Bloomberg. I'm the Senior Director for Information Technology at CLP here, headquartered in Hong Kong. We're vertically integrated. We serve about 80% of the population in Hong Kong, around 2.8 million customers. And we also have subsidiaries in Asia Pacific, including India, mainland China, Australia, and Southeast Asia. Hong Kong is quite unique in terms of the requirements. It's a very densely populated city. We have about 60,000 high-rise buildings. 50% of the population live or work on the 15th floor or above. So you can imagine it places quite extraordinary requirements around supply reliability. And I think the population in Hong Kong have come to take reliable electricity and energy for granted. You can see the 120 here, and this designates our 120 years anniversary that we're celebrating this year. Similar to many of you and similar to what Sushela and Des outlined, CLP is also preparing for the future. We're working closely with the government here on carbon reduction targets. We are looking at making investments in offshore wind. We have had a very successful uptake of a solar PV rooftop program and a feed-in tariff program. And whilst most of the population in Hong Kong live in high-rise apartments, those that do have a village house and have access to the rooftop, we're offering them a feed-in tariff scheme to sell electricity back to us. We're also in the middle of a large territory-wide rollout of smart meters, and this really presents us with a lot of new opportunities, how we manage our grid, how we serve our customers. From a customer perspective, we're moving from a manual read 6 times a year to one that is coming in automatically up to every 30 minutes. So that's nearly 3,000 times as many data points. So it provides us an opportunity to really look at more customer-centric offerings and insights. One of the challenges in Hong Kong is the hot and humid weather during the summer. And one area that we're looking at leveraging smart meter data for is to provide demand response insights, and for us to shave off our very spiky peak demand load curve and then better invest our capital funds into broader use cases, and then really shave off some of the spiky peak demand through incentives that we provide our customers. And demand response is based on those data insight that we get from smart meters. And then we are working on prediction around typhoons and hurricanes coming towards Hong Kong, which is always when it's extra hot and humid, and provide forecasting with the Hong Kong Observatory and provide customers mobile app notification or SMS or email up to the customer's preference to give them incentives for demand reduction. Another area that is of interest in Hong Kong is the adoption of electric vehicles. Given Hong Kong is a fairly small space, EVs are really very well suited given the trip distances tend to be fairly short. And one of the areas where we see significant benefit of EVs is the reduction of roadside emissions. But obviously, if you look at the charging element of electric vehicles in a concentrated way, that places additional strain on the grid as well. So that's an area for ongoing investments in our low voltage smart grid area also. The The other area that we're looking at is obviously an ongoing streamlining of our processes and modernization. And I think you probably can all agree with me that one of the very few benefits of the global pandemic that we're going through is really to challenge ourselves on the ways of working and being able to work more flexibly and remotely. And I think that's an area where our investments in cloud technology over the last few years has really paid off and has been able to let all the employees in CLP continue to be productive. So why did CLP join the Advisory Customer Council for Utilities, or ACCU in short? In fact, CLP was one of the founding members back in 2006. And for us, it was really around having a close alignment with SAP as our important and strategic partner, and being able to provide insights and also influence the investment and R&D direction of SAP into our industry and adjacent industries. The other element that I really value is the ability to share with peers. And I think in the utilities industry, we're quite fortunate that there's generally a very collaborative atmosphere, and it's conducive to peer sharing. And it's always interesting that no matter where in the world we are, there are so many similarities among us and so many things that are quite similar, and we can learn from each other. So that's certainly a key aspect as well of the council. At the moment, we meet in a virtual format, as you can imagine. But normally we would come together in person at least once or twice a year. And I think the peer sharing then in an in-person format and having dinner together and lunch and drinks and so on also is quite conducive, and it is a lot of fun as well. I wanted to share a little bit further around the Advisory Council and how it is a bit different from some of the other peer sharing models that you may be aware of. And the way we can look at this is basically three different areas. So the one on the left is probably most familiar to you all, and this is where the SAP user groups play a big role as well. And in most countries, we do have very established user groups in Europe and in the US and in Asia as well. And I think there's a lot of broad engagement through user groups, which I think is very conducive. The middle pillar here, the innovation pillar, is around software development and improvements that SAP make in their product currently, and to provide direct customer input and feedback into the SAP development process. And also part of this would be SAP and customer co-development and co-innovation initiatives. Now on the right-hand side, that's where the more longer-term strategic relationship sits, and that's where the SAP ACCU ACCU sits. So it's really a more longer-term discussion and looking at a 2 to 3 year, but maybe up to 5 year pipeline in terms of where the industry is going, where SAP thinks about going, and compare notes, and for the Advisory Council member organizations to provide insights into the SAP development roadmap. So if we're looking at the next slide, and you've seen this before earlier, we can see that the members are really quite international. And one of the benefits of the composition of ACCU is the diversity. So we have all continents represented here. We have regulated entities. We have companies that are working in highly deregulated and competitive markets. We have a number of companies that are looking at joining the Advisory Council as well. For example, Energy Queensland from Australia, Naturgy from Spain, Portugal. So it's really that diversity and the geographic, regulatory, and business model diversity that makes the discussion quite beneficial and insightful. The other area that I think is quite important is around the fact that the conversation is at a strategic level, as we've heard before. So it's a unique opportunity to get direct access and FaceTime virtually or in person with the head of the IBU, so the SAP Industry Business Unit for Utilities, and also the head of developments for the industry as well. So we are not going through the normal account relationship, which obviously we maintain as well for ongoing technical support and operations, but this is all about that direct strategic link. We're also able to bring in, depending on the topics we want to discuss, industry leader and SAP product leaders from other areas, including up to board level. So I think it's really that direct relationship and access to people that is very important. The other point to note is this is not a sales exercise. So the account managers which serve the members on a day-to-day basis in country, they are not permitted to participate here. There are also no SAP partners that pitch their wares and services in here. Whilst these are obviously valuable in this context, we really want to make sure we have the direct engagement at a strategic level between the ACCU members and SAP directly. And that, I think, opens up a mutual trust and dialogue as well. Katrin alluded to the fact that there's a legal agreement, which is basically a confidentiality agreement. As I say, Chatham House rules, so what happens in ACCU stays in ACCU. And again, I think that's an important framework to have mutual and truth discussions as well. On the next slide, we can see some examples of our various topics that we talk about. We've had sharing on Duke Energy's journey to S4HANA, and their particular sharing was actually around the change, the human change and culture change management that they had to go through when they consolidated a number of legacy billing systems onto the SAP platform. So this sharing wasn't necessarily very technical, but it was very important for many of us who are undergoing or embarking on a transformation to look at this aspect. Then on the technical side, we had sharing around running SAP solutions on hyperscaler cloud platforms. We have a number of other topics as well, as you can see here on the slide. So the interaction really depends on the input as well that the members provide. One of the questions that I sometimes get is, how do I become a member? So obviously, it is important that we want to make sure that the quality of the relationship and the discussion is maintained at a strategic level. It does need certain commitment to be a member of the advisory council. SAP obviously needs to be a strategic technology partner for you in your organization. And it also needs certain commitment in terms of the time and, if travel allows, travel budget and so on, to make sure that you can actively participate in the membership. We then have a trial membership where you would give a presentation about your program, your organization, your background, why you're interested to join. And then the existing members can vote on whether we would let the prospect in. And then there's a one-year trial membership during which there's further vetting before full membership is granted. So there is a process to this, but we're always looking for new membership to maintain the diversity and to benefit the ACCU members and the SAP team as well. So that's it from my side, and I hope you have been able to understand and learn a little bit more about what ACCU is all about. And if we have some time left, then I'd be happy to take any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Andre. So let me stop sharing and see if our moderator, Michael Bell. Hi, Michael.
Hello there. That was a very interesting insight from all of you. Thank you very much, Des, Andre, Sashela, and Katrin. Actually, you've covered a number of the questions that are in the chat regarding how to become a member and what are the Chatham House rules, leaving us with one last question. What topics will be discussed within the ACCU 2021 session?
Des, do you want to start and I can chip in? Some of the topics that are top of mind for you. You're muted.
Yeah, topics top of mind for us are the transition to cloud. We have a number of strategic investments that we need to start thinking about making in terms of our utilities platforms going forward. We've also got the S/4HANA step that we need to plan around that, and we've got business transformation initiatives around bringing a customer focus to our utility solutions. So these are the key things that we'd be looking to pick up learnings from the ACCU collaboration.
Good.
Some other topics that are in the pipeline are around understanding more on SAP's acquisitions and how they relate to the utilities industry. One example would be field service management and how that solution can be integrated and closer developed in conjunction with input from utilities industry. Another example would be on the asset management side, for example, around asset insights and asset health analytics. So again, the agenda isn't ring-fenced or restricted in any way, and it's really up to the individual members to make suggestions and contribute. We also have, in addition to the regular quarterly catch-ups, we do have interest groups and work groups. So whether some of the members where the topic is applicable can nominate people from their company to sit together and work together to look at a certain topic, to study it more, to provide a white paper, and then it comes back into the group as well for discussion.
Yes, and Andre, maybe it's also worthwhile to mention that we are thinking of trying out a new format also this year. As we said, we want to have it more also in a business context related sometimes, to have a dedicated half a day, really purely for business participants out of our industry, to see how this is working, because sometimes we tend to move again into more the IT space. I think this is also an idea that we have.
That's a good point, yeah. And I think from my experience, I think the best discussion and the best value and sharing and learnings always come about having the business and IT colleagues together and provide that input. And that's definitely also one of the requirements for potential new joiners as well to consider. How do we make sure that we have a strong balance between the business and the IT executive management?
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're coming to the top of the hour here for this session. Thank you, Katrin, Andre, Des, Sashela. And that was an interesting perspective and insight for ACCU participation and the benefits that are to be gained. I appreciate your time and efforts to prepare for our session today, and hope that you manage to get from virtual world to real world very soon for your next ACCU meeting.